would like for the administration to do, this is when we do that. And if we have none of those, let's move further along where we have persons requesting to address the board on non-agenda items. We have a representative from the band. If whoever that person is would please come forward. Identify yourselves, please, at the podium. If you have handouts, thank you very much for those. I'm sure that you were reminded of the board policies regarding time limits. Not going to be too rough on it, but again, we do have a situation where there are some time constraints that we have set on these things, and we'll be fairly lenient with it. But I know that you're aware of those things. If you will, please introduce yourselves and feel free to start.
Good evening. I'm Beth Hennigan, Band Booster President for Jhs Band. Dr. Dashner, school board members, and Greater Clark County school community. The Jhs Band is growing in size, talent, and accomplishments. Over the last several years, they have marched in contests locally and regionally. They have participated in Indiana marching contests, including district and regional, and Bands of America in various areas of the country. Last year, the Wind Symphony was asked to perform at the Music Educators National Convention in Indianapolis. These accomplishments are examples of the outstanding band program we have at Jeffersonville High School. Research has proven that music is important in a child's growth academically. Those students involved in music programs score higher on the standardized test as well as in the classroom and have higher graduation rates than students who do not participate in organized arts instructions. Jeffersonville High School students are exceptional. Band students at Jeffersonville High School are among the top students academically. With that in mind, we, the band parents, students, and the community want to keep the students' enthusiasm for music at its highest level. One item that is needed to assist with this goal is the purchase of new marching uniforms. The Jeffersonville High School Band is in need of new marching uniforms. Even with extensive care and thoughtful upkeep, the current uniforms are showing a great deal of wear and issues with fit and size. Many uniforms are showing discoloration around collars and armpits. Since the purchase of the current uniform 8 years ago, the band has grown in size and there has been a need for additional uniforms. We discovered a couple of years ago that we were not able to purchase the same uniform to accommodate new sizes without tremendous expense. Fortunately, at that time, we had a parent who was able to design a similar pattern and was able to make a couple of uniforms to make it through another year. Once again, we are at a point where additional uniforms are needed due to sizing and to replace worn-out uniforms. We see this as necessary to keep the Jeffersonville High School Band in position to represent the Jeffersonville community and Greater Clark County School with pride in uniforms that are fit and clean. We ask Greater Clark County School Board for some financial assistance. The approximate cost, as you see in your folder, of purchasing 125 band uniforms at a cost of $285 each and 25 color guard uniforms at a cost of $135 each would be around $40,000. These are estimated costs given by the company. In order for the uniforms to be ready for the fall marching season, the students must be sized in March, therefore quick action is needed. The Jeffersonville High School Band Boosters have raised enough money to cover half the cost of $40,000. We, the Band Boosters, are asking that you, the school board, help with the Jeffersonville High School Band continue to show pride in our school musically and academically by funding half the uniform cost. Thank you for your time and consideration of this matter. And we have a picture of the uniform, and you have a copy in your folder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Dashner,
Yeah, if I could, I'd like to respond. This came to our attention last week. Certainly an unknown expense in a time of budget problem. This was not budgeted. We pride ourselves on proactive and the 20,000 was not taken into consideration. The statute that has occurred historically is one that says may. It doesn't say shall, or should, or anything that says may. I'd like to ask the board to let us study this. I've had a chance to review the historical aspect of what this corporation does with band uniforms. And I just jotted this down today. I just got this just to share this with you as an example. And the following has occurred in the last 8 years. The board approved New Washington, 50 new uniforms in 2008 for $7,500. Charlestown in 2009, the board funded $5,300. Jeffersonville High School was at the table back in 2006 for the expansion. That expansion was 35 new uniforms. The board put almost $7,000 into that. And in 2002, there was 125 uniforms requested by Jeffersonville, and the board supplied $23,700. As you know by now, members of the board, I'm very, very strong on systemic efforts. And I need to study this, and I hope the board allows me to give you a recommendation that's cyclic in nature. I think to have groups come individually without looking at entire cycles, looking at overall expenses, looking at when things are due and not due is inappropriate. Especially in the time where we're talking about deficits in our budget and looking at that. We did just recently provide, the board provide the band leased instruments on that. I believe that the policy or the procedure that we choose to use needs to speak to both extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities. Extracurricular activities are things like athletics, and generally schools pick those up. But in the co-curricular area, such as band, there are several other groups that I think certainly we need to be aware of that could come before us to ask for similar kinds of things. What does that include? Choirs, drama, art, all those things that make up co-curricular. I think to respond in very short order is inappropriate. I think this needs to be studied. I have a series of questions of the director of the band, of the history of this particular issue before I make a recommendation. I do believe I could do that within a month's time, but make no mistake about it, I think it needs to be systemic. We have to have the budget. We have to have the expenditure side of the money. I've got to understand how the history plays into this. I've got to know what we're going to do with other, if you will, co-curricular activities that may come before us. It's my recommendation that the board allow me to study this issue and come back with a recommendation. I appreciate all the band does, and I applaud the band for outstanding performances that they've created. Excellent band. But in the times of budget stress, of non-budgeted expenditures, I think we have to look at this from a systemic point of view, not reactive right away. And I have numerous questions I think need to be answered before I bring a recommendation. So I'd request time to allow us to look at this, build this into the appropriate systems and cycles that I think are necessary. I'd be happy to answer any questions on it.
Did I understand you say, Dr. Dasher, you feel confident you can do that by the March 9th meeting?
I think I can do that within a month. Ms. Gilkey, yeah, I don't think it'll take that long, but there's just a series of questions I have to worry about the expenditure side of this, certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We, on these things, we always look at it, and the last time that, each time we've done this, we've looked at the things, and we try to get back to people quickly, and we've made the timelines that were necessary on each of these issues. So I feel very comfortable that Dr. Dasher will give us a report in a timely manner that allow us to make the decisions that are necessary to move this position forward. Okay, anything else? Okay, board comments, Mr. McEwen.
Not at this